You gonna lie. We are live.
Wow.
Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.
Yes, guys, welcome, 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 welcome. We're just gonna get right into it because it's a lot that we're gonna be talking about, and yeah, it's a lot that people need to know. I hope you do know what's going on because just like I said, journey with us, move now, right? We're not trying to move. I mean, we are here in Africa, but we suggest you move now, like for real,
Yeah.
because it's a lot that's going on, and if you have eyes to see, you will see that this stuff is really judgment that's coming. It's already there. It's already there. Put it like that. So whatever that needs to be said, we're gonna say it because hey,
Yeah, I
it's
think
not time to play.
it's also good to say during this time 5 years ago, the reason we say move now is because that's what we did. So we're coming from the perspective of things that we have already done, from mindsets that we already had. So this isn't something that's like not near to us. This is something we literally did this time in 2019, 2020, January 2020. We were like, okay, let's go, let's go.
Yes.
What are we going to do? What's our 3-month game plan, our 5-month game plan, our 6-month game plan, our year game plan when we touch down in Africa? And so when we say journey with us, move now, there's a reason we say that. And we're telling you it's more dire than it was in 2020. And you're about to see why.
Yeah, and they're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you what's going on. You really just have to know what's going on. You got to be in the know and just move with that. It's time to move now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and share this, and just play this for a couple minutes. So stay tuned.
Fair use.
Stay tuned. Yes, fair use. We don't own any copyrights or anything like that. Disclaimer, disclaimer. So hallelujah, all praise to the Most High. Make sure you like the video when you enter the chat.
Yes, this is one of our favorite channels to watch. Y'all should be watching it too. Let's be real, because they're getting Americans on purpose. Like, you just about to see.
Everyone, with reports of a mysterious fog going across the United States of America, causing people to be ill in the last 72 hours, I want to report to you some personal information on it. So we drove down in a family emergency to another state, and we drove through the fog through 3 states. All the way through, 100% of the drive was in a deep fog that you could not see 10 car lengths ahead of you on the highway. When we got to this new state, we of course had to do some things, and we spent some time out.
We have to pause right there. Like, can we just accept that fact that this guy just said they drove through 3 states? I'm not sure what state he's in. They drove through 3 states in an emergency for their family. All 3 states had dense fog. Now, I wish I could show you. Maybe if y'all subscribe and y'all go to the community tab, you look at our shorts, you're going to see what it looks like where we are. Because where we're located, there is no fog. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go back to the video. There's no fog where we're located in Africa.
Outside in this fog. In less than 12 hours after being in the fog, I started getting sick with flu-like symptoms. I haven't really had any exposure anywhere else. I haven't been to anywhere that I should have had exposure. I haven't seen the snotty little kids and the coughing or anything else. It was basically a drive and then inside a couple of establishments to and from. As soon as I started noticing some sort of symptom from it, I remembered something that I thought was impossible. There are things happening in this world that will drive us over the edge. We are starting to see, from extreme weather events to governments that are basically setting up for civil war. We have a whole world at war playing out in front of us, and supply issues. We have maybe the extinction of an entire species. We're looking at, in the year 2025, one of the worst years for the humans of this planet that we have ever seen. That's because the people in power care nothing about you. All that they want is more power, more money, and more control. They get the power by saving power over you. They use media. They use the news. They use everything else to gain power over you. They get the money through your taxes and you being a never-ending slave of a consumer. And then they get the control because you let them have it. But you, the people, according to the algorithms that are in front of open source intelligence agents, that are in front of the militaries of the world, you The people are about to take control back. Now, this has a lot of governments around our world very, very scared, because it's not going to be a single effort from the Americans or from the Russians or from the Japanese. No, this is going to be a global, concerted effort when it happens. They're watching for that one spark, something that's televised, something that's seen around the world. They're watching for this one spark that will ignite a world at war, a global civil war, not just one state against another, not just the reds against the blues, not just the races against the races. No, this is going to be a global war that is of such a proportion that it threatens to take down everything that has been built over the last 200 to 500 years. So we are looking at the Russians being prepared to completely black out the United States of America. There was that recent information that showed that the Chinese had infiltrated all members of the government. We also have information showing that China is about to launch a massive attack against the infrastructure of the USA. That might not be what does it. We might just recover from that set by set, get back to normal, but it's that one thing that you need to watch out for that's going to set us off. Maybe it's something like this death fog, this fog that has rolled from the top of the USA, obviously, all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, family. So I kind of missed most of it. This is my first time watching it, so please tune me in. Let me know what you guys think about what he was talking about. This is a channel that pops up. He does videos every day. Around the same time. So, if you haven't subscribed to his channel, go subscribe, because he does give some good information. Him and his family is like homesteaders. So, you really got to be prepared and know what's really going on, because it is time to be in the know. That reset, right? So it's just like, man, what is really going on? What is really going on? That was just a video that it popped up right before we got live, and in the first pretty much 5 minutes, pretty much 5 seconds, we was like, dang, we might have to talk about this on the live, because that's true. This fog, we was going to mention the fog too, so I guess we can go there. It's close. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're gonna go there next, so you guys can see, and we can read a couple of articles. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Make sure you like the video. Let us know what's going on. So, just from what you was hearing, because I didn't hear a lot what he was saying. I was just seeing the fog.
Yeah, he was just talking about the fog. He's talking about how it's about to be a world war, how they're getting ready for governments to be flipped over. And, this is why there's no better time to be in Africa, especially the southern region of Africa, southeastern Africa, depending on which country you're in, is one of the most stable places on the face of the earth, especially the location we are in, especially the location that we have lived in previously from a political, army standpoint. We only live in the most peaceful countries that you can find on earth. I'll just put it like that. We specifically desire to be in peaceful countries because how the world is going, we like to be in countries where there's lots of land, where there's lots of vegetation. These are things you need to be looking out for as you're deciding on moving abroad. And I just want to say, there are more Black Americans moving abroad right now in 2025 than there were in 2020. It's all over my Instagram. It's all over the news. It's all over everything. There has never been a time in history other than the Great Migration of enslaved peoples from the South to the North of America. Other than that, and the Bantu migration, this is one of the greatest migrations we are seeing of Black Americans out of America. Rather, they're choosing Venezuela, Colombia, Ghana, Spain, Portugal, South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya. This literally is another great migration, and it will be good for you to not be left behind in that. I liken it to when our ancestors, very recent ancestors, at least for our families, because we were in Ohio. So our ancestry, although our family was from Georgia, South Carolina,
West Virginia,
Alabama, West Virginia, although they were from these places where there was a lot of oppression and tension, our families packed up and moved and said, I'm not about to be under this oppression forever. I got to have a better life for my children's children. And so knowing that our ancestors had that thought process, for us, it's not difficult because our ancestors already had that thought process.
Yeah, you just got to tap into your DNA. Like really, we are sovereign people. We are pilgrims. And you just really got to tap into that space, because it is time to like really realize what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to question everything. You really got to question everything that's happening right now. In these first 2 days, they say, of this new year, it's like, whoa, wow, like what?
The first
2 days.
We 48 hours in, man.
It's about to be the third day for us, or third day they say, and I hate. It's like we know this is not the official new year, so
yeah.
But you gotta be occupied till the master returns. So yeah, man, it's wild. It's really wild. So we're gonna go to this article, just read a couple things about this mystery fog, and then we can move on
to the next topic. We got, so y'all know everything that's happening. I don't know if y'all know everything that's happening, okay? But we be paying attention because it's just foolish not to pay attention. Ignorance is not bliss, family. Ignorance is not bliss. So this is, y'all don't even see it yet. I gotta wait a moment. So this is Daily Dot. Okay, this is an article from Daily Dot. Fogvid 24. I love this writer. Can I just say I love this writer? Fogvid, a play on words with COVID. Fogvid 24, conspiracy theories about the fog across social states engulf social media. Reports from around the globe are surfacing of mysterious illnesses linked to encounters by Lindsay Weed Stan. They say that these are conspiracy theories. I want you to pay attention to the language. We know the book of Isaiah says, do not say conspiracy to what this people calls a conspiracy, meaning what the world says is a conspiracy, you better see it through discerning eyes and say, okay, this is actually happening, especially when in the last video with, what's that guy's name?
Full Spectrum
Survival. He himself went out to drive, saw the fog, not in just his home state, but in 2 other states on the way to go to a family emergency. So conspiracy theories about the fog are picking up steam online as people report strange thick mist followed by flu-like symptoms. The thickness of the fog, its appearance under a flashlight, and the respiratory system some have reported after exposure led many to theorize about chemical attacks, bioweapons, and of course, aliens. So far, there's no confirmation that this is anything nefarious on this part of the world, but with mistrust in the government at high levels, this hasn't slowed the spread of frightening posts. And so this is somebody with their dog that's looking at the fog.
We about to play it. Like, this is all new. This is all live, guys. So if there's something in it, we don't. Yeah.
Oh, he's crying.
That's fall. That's not like snow or nothing. So it's just like, whoa, what is going on?
That's Florida. 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago.
Right before the new year.
That's so weird.
Right in the morning, like right before, it's a perfect time for people to, well, it's a good time where people are not, fully awake and, and going to sleep. So it's just like, man, you really got to pay attention to the timing that they do stuff too.
Yeah, I think it really does remind me of 2019 because this was the time, especially when I think December 2019, it was still like quote unquote conspiracy. No, it was still quote unquote conspiracy. People were like, oh, C-19 isn't really happening, or at least the news was saying that. Mm-hmm. And so it's very familiar. And we beseech you, family, to move. If you need to move to the Caribbean first, if you need to move to Guam,
Brazil.
if you need to go to Brazil with their digital nomad visa, whatever you need to do it, and know that you have more favor than we did in 2020 because these digital nomad self-employed visas are out here in 50 plus countries. If you want to know more about that process, subscribe to members only, because we literally have digital nomad residents, a free multi-year visa. It's never been easier to move abroad on purpose. Exactly. Like, this isn't just a coincidence that all this stuff comes out as just like, hey, Americans need somewhere else to go, because America is falling fast on every level, not just economics, spiritually, peace, health, safety, food, the capital, everything. On every level.
That's like, whoa, like
on every, you can't ignore it unless you're foolish.
Yeah, unless you're foolish. So please don't be foolish in these last days. Please do not be a fool. Please do not be a fool. So this next thing that we saw, I'm not sure. Please let us know if you heard anything about it, because it is hard to find. Like, this is
they didn't
something
hear about
that's
this.
happening.
Only we heard about this because we in Africa.
And let us know in the comments if you know exactly what this means in this area.
I know what it means.
So I'm gonna share this screen. Let us know if you heard anything about this.
Nobody said, unless they're in Africa. And even then, now we are connected to people who are in Ethiopia. We subscribe to certain channels, and one of the channels we're subscribed to is the Ethiopian. I believe it's a brother who posted on his channel that this is happening. There's earthquakes in this certain region of Ethiopia that are happening day after day. One just happened today. It's a Richter scale 5. They're happening day after day, back to back, since the beginning of December. It's not really hitting the news. America's definitely not talking about it. I'm not sure if Ethiopia is talking about it, but this is a sign of the times. And it's literally, the earth is in birth pains because of the oppression of the children of Israel. The Most High is literally activating Joel 3 and saying, I'm going to bring these nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I am going to plead for my people face to face. All of the oppressed of the earth, the indigenous Africans that have been scattered throughout the entire earth, that are all under the same monarch. And so I believe for some of these nations that are in government, mostly European nations, like vast majority, like Great Britain, Germany, the US, the UK, for these nations, they're looking at these signs and they're worried. They're sitting in their bunkers like, oh man, we thought he didn't exist no more. We thought he wasn't going to return.
Yeah. And these earthquakes is back to back. So just this past week, it was like close to 30 earthquakes back to back. Like, I'm not sure if, we're not from an area where there's a lot of earthquakes. I know in California, people treat earthquakes like
nothing.
Like it's just, oh yeah, we just had another earthquake. Just stay still for a second and it'll pass. And it's like, man,
you gotta check the signs of the times.
Yeah, I really haven't. I don't know how earthquakes really happens, and is this a obviously this is a sign.
It's a shifting tectonic plate, like
exactly.
The plates
it's coming together and trying to split
and causes friction.
Yeah. So, and you got to think, this area right here is basically an area where Africa can split off. So what's really going on? You really got to ask, you got to question everything. You have to question everything. Really.
Yeah, the last one right here was today, the magnitude 5.1, 52 kilometers from the center area. The one before that was yesterday, 40 kilometers from Metahara. Before that was 2 on January 1st, Metahara, again, 33 kilometers. Then the 31st, 2 on the 31st, 2 more on the 29th, 2 more on the 27th. Okay, so this is a big deal.
There's a mountain there, a volcano mountain that can erupt. They say it's
awake
due
again.
Yeah, it's due to erupt. So we gotta ask questions.
The questions that people should be asking is, okay, Mosai, where are you activating Psalms 91 in my life for my lineage?
Mm-hmm.
That's the question to ask. Tessa Faye, Matthias, thank you. Yes, Fintel volcano,
That's the volcano
with strong earthquake. Thank you so much for answering. Yes, indeed. You know, shout out to the Pan-African family connections all over, because, you know, it's good to have connections across Africa.
Yeah. Like the resource, that's the resource in Africa. That's the best resource, to have connections.
Yeah, for sure. What are your thoughts on the splitting of East Africa? The splitting of East Africa is interesting. It will definitely take a long time if you look at geology. I just love studying all types of stuff, y'all. I like to study geology. I like to study history. So it will be quite a ways away until East Africa is completely split up from the mainland Africa. But I think it's really interesting. I think it could possibly be like the New Jerusalem, actually, because it's literally going to be sectioned off from a large part of the earth, especially a part of Africa. It like splits from parts of Ethiopia all the way
Kenya,
towards South
Tanzania.
Africa.
Yeah.
All the way through. So that's going to be a part that's separate from everywhere else in the world, but it's going to be a rather large island. That would take up a good landmass, splitting up Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, I believe parts of Congo, parts of South Africa, Malawi, Mozambique, away from the rest of Africa is really interesting. It's like a separation. So I think that's really interesting. I think it's cool to think about, but it is something that will be a long time in the future. Why don't you do this one?
Oh, that's a good one.
So yeah, that's the part of Africa that's splitting. We have so much content to cover today on the Journey with Us Move Now News show, okay? We cover it because so much has happened in the past 48 hours. Right. So much is happening. And look at that. What did I say? I got it right. Y'all see that? You see the top here is parts of Ethiopia. So we have Ethiopia, Somalia, we have Tanzania, Kenya. Do we have Uganda in there? It looks like Uganda. Looks like Uganda may just go off into the sea. It looks like, I don't know about Uganda. Rwanda, I'm not too sure, could be in there. Burundi, perhaps. But it's really like right in the middle there. Maybe a tiny bit of Congo. Definitely Mozambique. Definitely Malawi. You know, we don't really know what's going to happen to Malawi. Malawi's like right on this red line right here is where Malawi would typically be. This is obviously part of Mozambique, Southern Africa. This is Lesotho, I believe, right here, and Eswatini, actually. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tumult of the earthquake is helping to cause that separation.
Yeah, and if you look at that area, like if you're here in Africa, you will know, like, man, this is a big, huge area. Even Tanzania in itself is just huge.
Exactly.
So if this when this happens, not if, when this happens, this is a fruitful place to be.
One of my favorite places to be.
Yes.
If not my favorite. 400 POH said, thanks for addressing it. I thought the same thing. Yeah, it's really interesting. Tasfe, no one is talking about it. I think it will bring more attention in the near future for sure, especially when we think about biblical prophecy. We know our Ethiopian brothers and sisters are big on the church understanding of the Bible. And so it is good to get the information out so that the remnant, the saints of the Most High, can discern these things and begin to be watchmen to understand what's going on, discern the signs of the time. This is what the remnant has to do, because if we are to be the priests of the earth, how are we going to judge messengers if we can't tell what's going on the earth?
Yeah. And
if we don't see the signs, but we're supposed to judge messengers.
Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. And when I say you got to question everything, you got to ask the Most High, like, what's happening with everything. It's not literally like
don't believe it.
Yeah, don't believe it. Like it's really
It's,
happening.
what is it?
This stuff is happening right now.
Yeah.
In real time. So ask the Most High, like, man, what is this? What is really happening? Why did this happen? What is this fog that's happening? Is it, and I wanted to say this with the fog too, because you told me earlier how in the comment section of a video, there was a person that was trying to let their cat and dog out, who loves to go out every day, probably on the daily schedule, right? At the same time, the cat and dog did not want to go out into the fog. So it's just like, whoa, like
they were crying. That's what they said.
Something serious right there.
They were crying.
That's something very serious, where it's like, if a domestic animal don't want to go out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And we had dogs, and cats, so it's just like there's a schedule that has to be had in a way, and they would love to go out there and do what they outside. Do. But that's something different.
Yeah. Anybody that has dogs, cats, especially dogs, are very spiritual. They can discern things quicker than humans can. And so the fact, even dogs won't even eat poisonous food most of the time. Okay. Yeah. And so if a dog is discerning, I'm not about to step outside. I know I go outside every day at 5:30 p.m., but today I'm going back under this bed. I'm hiding.
Yeah.
That's an issue. So this is why it's so important to have animals around you. Animals are supposed to be a part of life so that you can discern what's around you in the spirit realm. Animals are so good at discerning things because they're more tapped into the dimension than we are in our flesh. Mm-hmm. Now this one, I couldn't help but just be like, the Most High is great.
It's not up yet. I'm just getting.
I think this is a prayer answered from our ancestors. Like, our ancestors were praying, bring our lineage back, destroy this. And the Most High, look, it may be delayed, but the Most High is going to move on his time. The Most High is going to move and judge on his time. Mm-hmm. 1 year is as 1,000 years to him, right? For us, we're like, when, Father? He's like, oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, now is the time. If anybody thought, I don't know who still thinks America's not under judgment, but this next thing you're about to see.
Yeah, this is a clear sign. Like, if you see this, lightning, I mean, it strikes pretty much everywhere. Like, you can't, I just stop talking to me. If you
for real, if you can't see, please, you go over somewhere else. If you can't see, that's a disease in itself, man. That's a spiritual disease.
Yeah, so it says the U.S. Capitol, the World Trade Center, and the Empire State Building were all struck by lightning tonight on the final evening of 2024. Okay, so that's
hold on, can I just? If anybody knows the scriptures, you know that by 2 or 3 witness, a matter is established. And so the Most High is showing you, Americans, if you had any doubt, 2025 is the utter year of the complete destruction of America. He showed you not once. He was like, I'm not going to let the lightning come once. I'm not going to let it come twice. It's going to be 3 times. 3 is such an important number in the Bible. We have Yahusha that was in the ground for 3 days in the tomb, letting the captives free. Why is that? 3 is similar to a number of complete. When something happens in 3s like that, that is the Most High telling you, this is for a surety. Don't doubt. Get ready to move. Get ready to flee to the mountains. Get ready to look at these scriptures and act on them without doubt, because this destruction is coming right now. As fast as that lightning hit these places, and look at the places it hit.
Right.
Look at where it hit.
Right.
Do y'all know what the Trade Center is? The symbolism of capitalism. The symbolism of, I've enslaved your ancestors and got filthy rich off of them. The symbolism of the Capitol State Building. Does anybody know? What? They used to hang our ancestors from there. Government.
It's
what?
Like, it's wild. Like, this is real life. This is real. This is happening. Like, this happened. Put it like that. So these are just little clips that I'm gonna play.
The
And
empire.
Again, it says the Capitol, the
You
U.S.
just thank
Capitol,
the Most High.
the World Trade Center, and the Empire State Building, right, were struck by lightning.
And he says, I wonder what God is telling us.
The last day of 2024, the evening, so New Year's Eve.
Oh, he honored their pagan holiday. He said, I can honor the things that you worship just so that I can get you to see that I'm not playing with you.
I'm going to try to slow this down too.
Let's see. Come on. Woo! Hallelujah is all you can say. When you see lightning and thunder, there could be no other that makes lightning and thunder except Yahuwah Sabaoth, except Yahuwah that says, I'm going to redeem you and take you out with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm.
Look at that.
Hallelujah. I just like to praise y'all that I'm awake to see it. That literally some of my ancestors was in captivity, raped, pillaged, violence unimaginable. The Most High saw it and said, you know what? This lineage is going to survive. Not only are they going to survive, but I'm going to take you out back to Africa. Hallelujah.
It's wild. Like, man.
You just thank the Most High.
Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High. You know, it's time for safety, guys. It's time for safety. You got to seek safety. Flee to the mountains.
Flee to the mountains.
So we're going to play this other clip.
That's a command. That wasn't a suggestion. That's a command.
So I believe this is a trade center.
I think that's the Empire State Building.
Oh, Empire? Okay. Look,
Empire.
I don't know. I don't care about America. I mean, yeah.
Let's see. My gosh. That ain't no joke. Wow. That was a thick lightning bolt.
Ooh.
That was clear.
Look at that.
Good deliverance. Good deliverance. What do these comments say?
Here. We're not on Twitter, so we can't see it. So yeah.
Ooh, what y'all think of that? Somebody let me know.
Yeah,
let us know.
Let us know what you guys think about what is that like. Whoa.
Does anybody else think that America is going to just be the most wonderful place on the planet in 2025? Because I mean, these 3 lightning bolts didn't happen in Great Britain. They didn't happen in Germany. Didn't happen in Spain. So why did the Most High send the decree and tell one of the messengers that he chose, hey, go hit these 3 places in America? You think he said that by accident? He's just like, whoops. He didn't say that by accident. He's trying to give you a sign, America. Black, white, everything in between. He's letting you know what he views 2025 as. Did it on your pagan new year because he can do that, because he knows all things. Because he can do as he pleases, meaning he can meet you where you're at and let you know what his belief is on this standpoint. That's what the Most High is saying. That's what that means. So it would behoove the nation and the people. Exactly, Kuzingata, deliver thyself out of Zion. That exactly. And the few Gentiles that will cleave on, deliver thyself. Zechariah 2, Jeremiah 50, 51, Revelations 12, Revelations 18, Joel 3. It would behoove you that are still in the West, deliver thyself. Why? Because you have power and authority. Greater works shall you do than Yahushua. Why? Because it's necessary in the end times.
It's time to move, family. It's time to move. It's really time to move. Move now.
Yeah, absolutely. And if our people don't have money, there's a time when we didn't have money. But guess what? We spoke until we did. Meaning, even if we don't have the right words, we will go to Isaiah 41, Isaiah 43, Deuteronomy 28. We were all up in there in 2019. Deuteronomy 28, 1 through 14, meaning, even if I don't have enough belief, if I don't have enough currency, if I ain't got enough this, I will read the scriptures daily until I do. Daily. I will read them over and over and over and over and learn more, pick up some proverbs, put them into practice. Then you look up and you're like, wow, the wealth is dropping in. Why? Because it started in the spirit. Poverty is a spiritual disease. It's a spiritual disease. Dysfunction. We were never created to be in poverty, especially if we are to be the chosen of the earth.
Yeah, we gotta have that mindset of kingdomship. Like, if the king is coming back, you know, it's gonna be a kingdom. Like, and we are nowhere near that mindset. It's levels. It's levels to it. So you gotta think about, like, we are literally gonna be rulers over nations. Think about that. Like, you better look. Think like what's the guy's name in Burkina Faso?
Ibrahim Traore. He ain't
man,
playing.
He not playing. Like, we was talking about that earlier. This guy, look, man. When I think about how he's moving, that's how we gotta move. Like, just like that. He dressed up in his military ready every second of the day. He not walking out no door. He not going around no corner without checking it, without having somebody check it for him. Like, that's how we got to start moving. Like, it's really that serious.
Yeah.
And at first, like, that I think that's a sign for our people. That's a sign for Africa, where people need to move like that. It's not time. Look, it's time to move exactly like he's moving. Military stuff and all.
Yep. Facts. Yeah. That's the only way to move, because you can't be lukewarm. If you're lukewarm, you might as well go back to wherever you came from. Because the Most High despises lukewarm. He was like, I'd rather you just be cold than be lukewarm. You got to be on fire. You got to have a passion. Love is not passive. Love is not passive in any way, shape, or form. Nothing you do in life is passive. Or else nothing's going to get done. If it's just passive, everything's lukewarm, nothing's going to get done. The kingdom work won't get done. Your business won't get done. Your marriage won't get done. Your children, everything will suffer if you're lukewarm. This is why you have to be on code.
Really?
One of the best ways to get on code is to read the book of Proverbs. It really puts, when you actually study biblical principles, it puts everything into perspective. Every single thing, Old Testament and New Testament, everything gets into perspective. You see how to run your marriage, how to run your business, how to deal with people outside of your household, how to deal with people in your household, how to discern the things that are coming, how to understand prophecy, how to receive future dreams and visions. That's power and authority, how to heal, all of these things. But oh, you of little faith. That's what Yahusha said. He said, how long do I have to be with this generation? Is it easier to say, get up from your sick bed and walk, or to say your sins are forgiven? Which one? This is what he said to the Pharisees and Sadducees with all of their vast viper poison that they were spewing. He was like, okay, what? What is the issue? Because Pharisees and Sadducees will find a problem with every single thing because they are like their father, the devil. It'll be a problem with every single thing. If you have more problems than solutions, it's a good time to repent, because it's very disrespectful to the Most High. It's just blatant disrespect, especially when he's so gracious and kind. I take him sending lightning out as being gracious and kind. Why? Because he's showing people that don't yet believe what's happening that it's going to happen. That is an act of grace for him to even humble himself and really try to put it plainly, to show the lightning strikes, where in the Most High, in his so exalted form that is billions and millions of levels above human, has His grace, good deliverance. Okay. To even be able for him to show lightning, and he does it on a pagan holiday. That's how far he's meeting you where you are, to show you. Because there are those, as it's written, that did not see but believe. We are of those who do not need to see it, we just believe it. But for those who still need more, who didn't see and still don't believe, then he's like, okay, let me put some more symbols so that when I judge this place, nobody can say, oh, I didn't know. Because that'll just be a lie. Mm-hmm. That will just be a fallacy. It'll just be a lie. Like, really think of an Elohim. None of the gods of the nations have the power that the Most High has, and the grace, the level of grace where he makes it so clear. He's like, there won't be any time for confusion. I'm gonna make it so clear.
Yeah, that's very clear. Look, if it wasn't clear, then that is clear right there.
That's clear.
That is clear, crystal clear. This is not our background. It's not blurry. It's not blurry. This is crystal clear.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, just look up the news. The last 2 days. Just look up the news the last 2 days.
Yeah. Now we got more news, y'all. More things happened in the past 24 hours, y'all. Y'all taking notes? I hope so. Run this back, share with your cousin, your friend that thinks America's in great condition. Doesn't matter if they cuss you out. Doesn't matter if they're mad. You might be able to help them save their life and change their lineage. You might be able to help them just by sharing this video so that they can understand the things of the Most High and start to look into the Bible and see what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm. It's there.
Y'all see this? I don't know what this is, but it happened. It happened, I think last night. Tesla Cybertruck exploded outside of Trump's hotel in Las Vegas, and they're saying it's a possible act of terrorism. What they mean by terrorism, I'm not sure if they're talking about like ISIS, China. I'm not sure what they mean by that, but this is all happening within 48 hours of 2025.
Let's look at it.
There may be a link between the attack in New Orleans and the Tesla Cybertruck explosion just outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. And that incident is now being investigated as a possible act of terrorism. We want to turn now to Andres Gutierrez in Las Vegas following this story for us. Andres, thanks for joining us. First off, why is this being investigated as a potential terror attack?
Well, good morning, Michael. At this point, there are several parallels between the attack that happened in New Orleans and the incident here in Las Vegas, specifically the timing of when it happened around the morning time on New Year's Day. Both the trucks that were involved were rented on the Turo app. The truck here was rented out of Colorado, and the head of the police department indicated that the Elon Musk was able to provide the law enforcement here a ton of information regarding the Cybertruck that allowed them to track it from Colorado to the time it made it here to Las Vegas, which was around 7:30 yesterday morning local time. We're told that it spent about an hour going up and down the famed strip here in Las Vegas before eventually pulling into the valet area here at the Trump Hotel. It was there for about 15 to 20 seconds before it went off. The explosion, we're told, was contained by that Cybertruck. The structure of that vehicle helped contain the blast going upwards versus outwards. People inside the lobby describe hearing the explosion, fireworks going off. In the back of the vehicle, police say that they did find gas containers as well as camp fuel canisters and those fireworks mortars. At this point, they are trying to figure out what exactly detonated all these materials.
Now, Andres, what do we know about the alleged perpetrator at this point?
Yeah, so sources telling CBS News this morning that the truck was rented to a Matthew Livelsberg, who is a member of the U.S. Army. He was currently on leave. Two relatives did speak to CBS News who said that they had no idea that he was involved in this incident, but they do know that he had recently rented a cyber truck. We're told that his wife hadn't heard from him in several days.
All right, Andres Gutierrez in Las Vegas, thank you so much for your report.
So guys, what y'all think about that? Because I didn't even hear that video. I thought it was an article. I didn't even know it was a video. That's my first time hearing about it. And it's like, man, they talking about the U.S. Army. This guy was in the U.S. Army, and then the other truck incident in Louisiana, New Orleans, with the guy just pulling through a crowd. And
A brother.
Yeah, he was in the military.
He snapped.
Like let us. I don't know what like
military men snap, especially they snap, man. They really snap. But I also want to make it clear, when we talk about the judgment of the Most High, what this practically looks like, what the Most High is showing me, is that not only is it judgment, but I think too many times we just hear that word and we don't put like pictures to the word, meaning whoever conspires against that Northern American territory, the Most High will give them the permission and leeway to do it. Doesn't matter if it's China, Russia, doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if it's actual Americans inside. The Most High is saying, I will give you over, double for your trouble. This is just the beginning. This should let you know. The first 48 hours should let you know. Let me sit down and make a game plan. What? It's easier to get out of America than it ever has been before in history. If our ancestors had the stuff we had, they would have been out. That's why we're out. And we don't even have, we back in 2020 didn't even have the resources that are available to you today. But you know what? Somebody had posted something about the scriptures and said, it's so deep, y'all. It's so deep. He posted something and said that the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, they had faith and they did not have all of the scriptures we have today. Meaning they didn't have Isaiah, Jeremiah. They didn't even have Yahushua's blood at that point because the fullness didn't come in. And yet they had more faith than this generation. With all your books, all your knowledge, all your church, all your Babylonian everything, and people still don't have faith. It's truly, unless you're called, there's no getting out of it.
Yeah.
It's like pray to be called, pray to be chosen. Pray the Most High separates you from the things that are coming to pass. Because that was our prayer in 2019. It manifested in 2020 that quickly. Where I literally prayed to the Most High and said, Father, send your laborers in the harvest because the harvest is full, but the laborers are few.
Yeah.
I prayed the scriptures came to pass in our life and still come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that Abraham had more faith and didn't have as many books? Man. Why?
It's like more and more technology grew. More and more our people just everybody stopped believing in the Most High. Just getting further and further away from the Most High. Just depending on all this technology and they say knowledge, and look, it's still that faith that you gotta have. It's still that belief, still that trust. It's still that that action. You gotta have some action to your works, like really.
You better put a lot of action. You better put your action better match or exceed your faith. Why? Because without faith, it's impossible to please him. But the only way to show your faith is to show your actions. Faith without works is dead. Meaning, faith with zero action is not faith. It's just quotations around faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to speak with such strength and authority because there are going to be deaths across the world this year. that don't have to happen to certain people if they would receive the word of Yah. Like we received it in 2019 to leave the world, America, behind. Like we received it when we didn't get vaccinated and said, no, there are religious people who will tell you to get vaccinated. There are church people. There are people who will tell you, oh, you had to do it. But then these people got strokes. Some of them not even here today, but get mad when you stand up for righteousness. You have to decide in your mind right now, today, right on this live, are you going to serve Yah or are you going to serve man? Which one? It can't be both. Not in the last times. I don't care if it's your neighbor, your dad, your brother, your cousin, your sister, your niece. You better put all those folks to the side and say, I don't care if I'm the last one on the planet that believes in the Most High. I am going to stay right here, believing on the firm foundation. Not only am I going to believe in the firm foundation, but I'm going to use my authority because Yahusha's blood wasn't spilled in vain. I'm not going to be the one to let his blood spill in vain. Oh no, y'all forbid. I'm going to use all the authority, all the spiritual principles, all the knowledge, the wisdom, the healing, the sovereignty that he has given me as a daughter of Zion. I made up my mind years ago, but you got to make up your mind today. Because if you don't, all these things that are to befall, Babylon will fall upon you. If you don't put the blood of Yahusha on your door, if you don't practice your Passover, if you don't really have a relationship, if people still out here walking in accusation, walking in a viper spirit, walking in a python, all that stuff, you're going to start reaping that stuff. I look back on the past 5 years, we are reaping the goodness that we have sowed. We were just talking about this earlier. Like, wow, thank the Most High that we had the grace and the wisdom to choose grace over our own flesh every time. Every time. Why? Because I have no other idols but thee, O Yahuwah. Don't care. Don't care what accusation, what false this, who that, what. I don't care about none of that stuff. I really don't. Why? Because when I read the book of Isaiah, to me, it's 100,000,000% real. When I read Jeremiah, I can see it playing out right in front of me. When I read the book of Matthew, I'm reading something that sounds so familiar as if I was there with my Messiah that day. Why? Because I knew him from the foundations of the world. That's it. Most people don't even have a relationship with the Father without their congregation, without the pastor, without the elder. What if all them people gone? What if you're on an island all alone by yourself with no idols? Are you still going to serve the Most High?
It's like it's already a lot going on. Just I know I made it a thing to start writing because I know we come on here and say all these news and stuff, and then the next couple of weeks is something different. So it is important to keep up of what's going on, but don't make it your life. Like you gotta know what happened yesterday in a way.
To know what to pray about.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a lot of death. It's gonna be a lot of death that's gonna be happening. It's going to be some things that people only see in movies. So we have to prepare our mind, have to prepare our spirit, have to prepare our emotions, like all of it, because it's about to get real. It's about to get real fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry.
It's literally that verse. It's so bittersweet. It's great when you believe in the Most High and you see these things and you're like, great, like I'm not crazy this stuff is coming to pass. But at the same time, it's like, oh, snap. This stuff coming to pass. 1,000 shall fall at your right hand, 10,000 at your left. It shall not come nigh to you. Why? Because you have made Yahuwah El Elyon your habitation. Therefore, no evil befalls your dwelling. The end. That's the whole story right there. What are y'all ready for 1,000 to fall at your side, 10,000 at your left hand? But Yah says, but it won't befall you. Keep going. Psalms 23, you're going to walk in the valley of the shadow of death, but you're not going to fear any evil. And He said, in the midst of all that, you're walking in the valley of the shadow of death. I've seen the shadow of death. You're walking in the valley of the shadow of death. You see skeletons, see dead bodies. Maybe you even see fog. Ain't nobody around you can talk to because you're in the valley of the shadow of death. But he says later in the verse, because you trust in that lampstand and the rod, he's going to anoint your head with oil in the presence of your fallen enemies. Mm-hmm. Your enemies that are walking dead people because they love to curse people. Your enemies that have tried to oppress the entire earth for 1,000 years, but they can't do nothing because the Most High put his oil on you. I said, Father, I receive the oil daily. I accept it and walk in it. I love it. I absolutely 100,000,000% love it. But that's where the wealth starts, understanding biblical principle, knowing that it's not the bank account, the houses, the this, the that, even the knowledge, right? But it's the spirit, not by power, not by might, but by your spirit, yeah. That's how you're going to maneuver these things to come to the earth. And then once you have a spirit, then you're going to be able to have whatever resources you need, whatever connections you need. Whatever traveling, whatever, you're going to be able to hike up the mountain, no problem. Mm-hmm. You're going to have so much connections, it's not going to make sense. You're going to look at Abraham's story like, my gosh, did this just come to pass in my life? You're going to look at Joseph's story like, oh, Father, give me a portion of the blessing of Joseph.
Yeah. And look, the sooner the better, the sooner the better. I know we've been saying this for 4 years. You know, a lot of people listen and listen to the Most High. You know, the Most High spoke to them through us and stuff. But
yeah,
the sooner the better. And the people that actually came understands that, man, I'm glad that I got here when I got here and not trying to wait. You cannot wait this thing out because once you got video?
No, it's a Notion thing.
Okay. But yeah, like you really can't wait this thing out because, you know, this is a whole different continent. It's a whole different place. The Most High got you no matter what, but you just still got to get used to moving around a certain way, learning how. Even today, we went on a walk, right? All praise to the Most High, and we found a new area where it was like cheaper stuff than what we know. And it's just like, oh man, I wish we knew this area. And that's all because we walked to a new area, we saw it, we asked questions, we know, hey, it's cheaper stuff here now. Like we know it's cheaper stuff here. So we wouldn't have known that if we didn't go to that new area or we didn't, go that route because we went a whole different route.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, we sure did. Exactly. It was beautiful though. It's very great. You know, you just love walking through Africa. It's really indescribable. And I'm a writer, so typically I can describe things really well. But man, Africa is just so gorgeous. It don't even make sense. Kuzingita says, what is happening on January 12th? Who's it for? That's an excellent question. The State of the Diaspora 2025 is happening January 12th. It's a VIP day with 15 slots available from 9 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. For the diaspora who wants to travel Africa and get out of America as soon as humanly possible, we're going to have 3 main speakers. Us, Awaken with Mark, who we had on our live that has been traveling throughout East Africa, another sister, Rukia Muhammad, who lives in West Africa, but used to live in Bali, spent some time in Tanzania, spent some time in Rwanda, is now in Ghana, to talk about this digital nomad life as pilgrims, okay? Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the link in the description after this live. I don't think I put it in there yet, but I'll put it in after.
Yes.
Yeah, because network, look,
it's a
African currency is network.
Yeah.
That's the currency of Africa. That's something that's very hard for Americans to wrap their mind around because a lot of times Americans are like, oh, I don't want to go to this person, oh, the pride thing. But man, when you're in Africa, you won't survive unless you can be humble. You will not survive. You will be right back to America. If you still got American pride in you, you're going to be residing in your American pride back in America. Because in Africa, you really have to humble yourself and say, you know what, there's stuff I don't know. Let me get in the room. Let me go talk to these locals. Let me go talk to these diaspora in other areas. Let me see what they got going on in Dubai. Let me be wise so that I can receive a blessing to the 10th generation, right? Like when you move and have your being in this world at this rate, it needs to be from the same standpoint that the Most High wrote in Deuteronomy, which is, I'm going to bless thousands of generations after you. The Most High doesn't deal with individuals. He doesn't. He deals with legacy, lineage. That's why to the African, whenever somebody has a baby, I'll tell you a story. There's this Kenyan lady that came by our house in Tanzania, and she was telling me, she was like, oh my gosh, you have 5 children. You're so wealthy. To the Kikuyu, wealth is seen through marriage, children, finances, business, and network, connections, tribal village. She said, because you have 5 children, we see you as very, very wealthy. So when you go through certain places in Africa, they're like, wow, you're so wealthy. The Most High is with you. You have so many children.
Yeah.
Contrary to America.
Yeah. And you got to understand what wealth is, just how she explained it. I know some people like, oh, you got all the money. Look, that's not the wealth that we're talking about. Yes.
Wealth is freedom, time ownership, spirituality, and family. Meaning, if you don't get along with your inner family, that's an issue. If you got children, you don't like your children, that's an issue. If you got parents, you don't like your parents, that's a problem. But this is part of the 10 Commandments. This is stuff that should be simple. But we have to say these things to Americans because it's such an opposite way of life. And you're not going to see it. You won't be able to fully wrap your mind around it until you leave America and you live in Africa and you see, oh, this is totally different. But you have the option when you're at that crossroads to choose, do I see the African biblical way as righteous or do I see the American way as righteous? Am I willing to die to my American ways or not? Everybody makes that choice. We made the choice. We are willing to and still willing. But it's a choice everybody has to make.
Yes.
Be a student of Yah for life. Understand that. Meaning nobody, this is why Yahuwah said, nobody could reach the kingdom unless they become his children. Not one would be able to. Why? Because children are always learning. They're always ready to receive. They're like sponges that soak things up. Unless you're willing to become like a child, you will not reach the kingdom of heaven. Meaning, there are people who think that they will reach the kingdom of heaven, but will not reach it. How do I know? Because the book of Matthew said it. He said, there are those that will come to me saying, Father, Father, didn't I do this in your name? Didn't I do this in your name? Didn't I do this in your name? He's going to say, depart from me, I don't know you. Make your calling and election sure, unless you're able to become as little children. Unless you detest the things that the Most High detests. Unless you see Proverbs 6:16 and come in agreement with it, then you won't be able to make it to the kingdom. You barely be able to make it out of America, to be quite honest, because if you're acting in Proverbs 6:16, you've heaped curses upon yourself. Please go read Proverbs 6:16 through 19. Actually, I think it's through 20, verse 21. So you're like, how do I have success in Africa? What do I do in the last days? Follow what Proverbs 6:16 says not to do. Like, don't do it. Actually follow the commandments. People say they follow it, then they'll be slandering their neighbor 1 hour after on the Sabbath and think they did the Most High a favor. What an atrocity. What an atrocity. Welcome, new members only. Terry girl, you have access to over 53 behind the scenes videos from our journey in Tanzania, now to Southeastern Africa, and wherever we will go beyond that. You have all that access. Lots of videos. It's going to take a while to go through, but welcome. Enjoy. Yes, hallelujah. What is Black Educators Amplified and how does it help people? That's a great question, Kuzingata. Black Educators Amplified is our 8-week accelerator that takes place January 19th at 2 p.m. Eastern. It is available for 3 people now. Somebody already signed up, but we're essentially helping people to leave America through their divine talent that the Most High has gifted with them, their work history. We take you through our process, our 20-question framework, create your website copy with you, create your marketing strategy for 3 to 6 months so that you can submit that to an African government and get your residence and have everything together for your dream life in Africa. Because you were sent here with a gift, you were sent here with knowledge, you have even received experience through corporate America, whatever your expertise is in healthcare. But until you really sit down and unlock that, it's just sitting there. So we welcome you to that. You can view the videos on our channel if you want to learn more about that. Kay loves Yah. I love Proverbs 6:16 through 28. Yes. Yes. One of my favorites. Yeah. It really puts things into perspective. It's one of the most, like, it's so wonderful. You can just read those verses and that will give you all the discernment you need. If you see life from that perspective, then you can discern who is of the Most High and who is not. It's such a beautiful scripture. It's very straight to the point. Is this our last article?
Yeah. You ready?
The title, y'all. The title is like, okay. The title, these articles, man, last 48 hours. Somebody share this. Somebody like this. Somebody send this to somebody. Because this is crazy. This, if you thought that everything was cool, Donald Trump came out and told you, no, it's not. He said something wrong. Some people need to hear it from a white man's voice. So, the Most High, he said, look, I'm going to say it in every single way. Whatever way you need to receive it is fine. Some people got to hear it from a white man. So be it. We'll share that as well. Donald Trump says the USA is breaking down, blasts virtually non-existent leadership after violence. A house divided cannot stand. I didn't make that up. That comes from the Bible, and I happen to believe in the Bible 100%. And so when I see headlines like that, let's reread that. When I see headlines like that, Donald Trump says the USA is breaking down, blasts virtually non-existent leadership after incidents of violence. A house divided cannot stand. USA is the house that is divided that will not stand. That is a law. That wasn't a suggestion. That wasn't where the Most High was like, I just like to kind of sit this here because it's cute. He said, a house that is divided cannot stand. The DOJ, FBI, and Democrat state and local prosecutors have not done their job, Donald Trump said in a fiery statement. I mean, yeah. Donald Trump said the USA is breaking down and blamed the weak, ineffective, non-existent leadership for the nation's downfall. The president-elect's fiery statement slamming the U.S. security came hours after the deadly New Orleans car attack, although he did specifically mention the incident in his post. The CIA must get involved now before it's too late. Our country's a disaster, a laughingstock. This is what happens when you have open borders with weak, ineffective, virtually non-existent leadership. The DOJ, FBI, Democratic state, and local prosecutors have not done their job. They are incompetent and corrupt, having spent all their waking hours unlawfully attacking their political opponent, me, rather than focus on protecting Americans from the outside and inside violent scum. Oh gosh, this guy is vulgar, ain't he? Scum. Okay, scum that have God dang. I'm sorry. Why do you say it like that? They have infiltrated all aspects of our government and our nation. Democrats should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen to our country. He added the CIA must get involved now before it's too late. The USA is breaking down. A violent erosion of safety, security, and democracy is taking place. Only strength and powerful leadership will stop it. See you on January 20th. Make America great again.
It's like 18 days. 19 or 17. Yeah,
I'm just kind of speechless. That was ghetto. That was off the chain.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got the memo that Babylon's fallen. I think he really in his mind, he's like, I can save it. I can save it. Most High's like, oh, you don't even know. You don't even know the half of it. You don't even know that you're not about to save it.
Yeah, he's definitely playing his position. Put it like that. He's definitely playing his position. There's so much stuff going on. And I want to mention this too, because we're not going to read no articles. I just want people to see what happened. You know, Biden, he signs 50 bills into law. I want to say this was, 7 days ago, 6 days ago? So I'm not sure what the bills was and stuff like that. But, you know, right before he get out the door, this is what he do. So you just got to be aware of what could really happen before you know, Trump get in office, and these next couple months is going to be treacherous.
Shoot, the next couple of weeks. We only on day 2.
Yeah.
We on day 2, y'all. I see 78 people in the room. We value you being here with us so much. Feel free to hit the like button. It's free of charge to just tap your finger and go boop. Like, that helps us spread the word if you're in alignment with this content and would like to see more of it. They are getting Americans on purpose.
Yeah, we probably gonna be doing this every day.
Well,
all the news that be coming out now.
Just call us Journey With Us News.
Right?
Journey With Us African Perspective. Journey With Us Outlook.
Yeah. So any questions, guys, let us know in the chat before we get off. We definitely gonna try to stay within the hour range so we can you know, get going and do what we got to do.
Shalom, Fast Nickel. How did y'all learn to quit complaining and ask for help for move abroad logistics? Zion gotta free herself like the Bible says. Ooh, that's such a loaded question. I really like that question. You know, meditation. I'll be quite honest. I would meditate, you know, like I would turn on a biblical meditation. By the way, the definition I'm using of meditation is not like I free my mind of anything. I don't do that. That's foolishness. I meditate on the word, and I meditate on what the word says. So I would have my children, they would go play in their little room. I would turn on a Bible meditation, and I would fast, and I would sit there for hours to renew my mind. That's how serious the move to Africa was for us. I would sit there and meditate for hours.
Yeah,
I would just sit in prayer and recite the word until the word became my brain, to where my thoughts are scriptures, usually nonstop, to where the Most High's voice, that's why you see this type of authority, because I've trained my brain and I coveted the fruits of the Spirit, as Paul says all believers should do. I was like, oh, I want to have the fruits. I want to be on fire. I want to be able to heal. I want to be able to have the power. I want to be next to the Most High. And so I took the action to go along with it. I meditated on the word until the word became my brain, until it's like, oh, the word, whether it's Genesis, whether it's Revelations, whether it's Psalms. I love Psalms. Not only did I do that, because that's like the faith part, but then I put it into action and tested it. How did I test it? When I have obstacles in my life, I speak to it and tell it to be removed. No fear. When there's something in my life that comes contrary to the word of the Most High, because I know the word, because I study it nonstop. So when something comes contrary, I immediately know that it's contrary, and I bind it and I rebuke it, whether it's a person, a circumstance, a spiritual mountain, whatever it is, I speak to it and it's removed, and it has to get hence. Satan flees 7 ways from the righteous quickly. When I get up, demons tremble. They run.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yah.
Yeah, I would say fast and pray. Be willing to, you know, fix yourself. Be willing to be truthful to yourself. Because like, if you're not true to yourself, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
And you know, just being here in Africa, that helps you not complain too. especially when the power be going out, stuff like that. Just little stuff that, that we didn't have to deal with back in the States that we had to deal with here in Africa. It just, complaining is just not, it's not good. Like, why are you wasting that energy of complaining when you can be really healing? Like, what really offends you? Check yourself. Like, why does this hurt me? Why am I getting offended by this? So no complaining at all.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
This goes into the next question too.
I was gonna say that's good. You were talking about the complaining. I think it's also we used to watch a lot of Watchmen, Deborah, Yahoo, and they would have these spiritual videos. They're from like 5-6 years ago, but in some of their videos, they would teach that complaining is literally cursing yourself. Yeah. Once I understood that, I was like, oh, I won't let no complaint come out of my mouth. So you hear all these people that complain about Africa, complain about finance, complain about this. I'm like, I'm not cursing myself. I don't got time.
You got to
I have 5 children. Why would I curse myself?
You got to check your speech. Like, really, it's the little things. It's the little things. Like, really, it really is.
Yeah. Once you understand that principle and you understand that I will bless those who bless you, I was like, oh, let me find people to bless. Let me go congratulate somebody. Somebody's doing well. Let me go bless them so that when it's my time, I can reap good fruits. Instead, a lot of our people dwell with the spirit of slander, dwell with the spirit of jealousy, dwell with confusion, dwell with schizophrenia, dwell with all of these things because they've been cursing themselves with their mouth. So that's what they're reaping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always
life and death is in the power of the tongue. Those who love eat the fruit thereof.
It's a healing. So
fast, Nicole. When you moved to Africa, what was the first adjustment needed? What you eat, shopping for stuff? You want to answer first? I think.
I was about to say complaining, kind of, because that kind of goes hand in hand. You can't complain. You just gotta be adjustable. You gotta be willing to accept, hey, this is Africa. I think that was our mindset coming to Africa. Hey, it's gonna be different. We kind of gotta accept it as it is. It's not gonna be America. So the first adjustment is, no complaining. Be humble. Be humble about every situation. Kind of put yourself in other people's shoes before you really start to judge. Ask questions and be a servant of the Most High. Like, really, just be righteous. Be righteous. Do the right thing. Tell the truth. Don't lie. Like,
stand on truth. Don't back down.
It's not hard to stuff. It's really not hard to do. Like, really,
it's not. And then along with that, that's good. I would say food was a big one because food tastes so different. Beef tastes different. Meat tastes different. It's the right type of different because it's organic. But our tongue has a Babylonian palate, okay, when you first coming over. So that does, I would say it takes a year to get used to the food, quite honestly. But it'll really draw out in you, like, are you just full of your belly and food? Will that be the thing that causes you to go back? For some it is. But for us, we're like, no, we're on a divine mission, a divine assignment. We know our ancestors went through hell so we could be here today. We are somebody's prayer, if not multiple people's prayers answered. So it's dying to the flesh, really. Africa's dying to the flesh. It really is. It's like a crucifixion. It really, because you're crucifying all the American ways that you had.
Yeah.
Year after year. Because again, we were born in America. So that takes years to get off. There's levels to it. Lady J's Black Eyed View. My mentor is from Dallas, Texas. She now lives in Thailand. My minor is human resources. I'm excited. Congrats. I know you said you opened your virtual consultancy, like a telemarketing, was it? Virtual call center. Yes. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's how you do it. Look, you're just on the cusp of greatness. You should be excited. That's amazing.
I think that's
be kind. K loves y'all. Absolutely. Babylonian palette is crazy. It really is. Like you got to tweak your mind to say, mind, you are going to subject yourself to the laws where it says be content. You're not going to freak out over no ketchup. You're not about to freak out over no chicken. You're not about to freak out over no beef, because the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. But if your spirit is stronger, your spirit coming at you like, girl, you better not. You better not disrespect your father like that. You better not open your mouth to complain about some food. You better not. Or at least that's what my mind says to me. Then I'll be like, okay. The Ruach says it to me like, child, you look. You gonna go back to America over some chicken wings? Some do. I don't. You gonna go back to America for, you know what? It'd be a mistake. Be a big mistake. Looking at 2025, first 48 hours would be a huge mistake. Alakanya, my son married a Gentile woman who is antagonistic towards our faith. My son is not awakened, so this makes it worse. We want our children to leave also, but we are concerned now. Advice? I would just pray. That's the only advice I have. Just pray. Without ceasing. Daily. Because you really can't tell him nothing. Obviously can't tell her nothing. So it's like, just let the Most High's will be done. Sometimes that's just what it has to be with family that does, different things. Just let the Most High's will be done and focus on what he has for you to do. That is difficult.
Yes, that's very difficult. But yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think that's it, y'all. It's been a blessing speaking to you guys, worshiping the Most High, speaking his word. We are thankful for his grace, his provision, his prophecy, all of it. Y'all is coming to pass. And understand that things are happening because Yah loves you. He says, I will ransom Sheba and all the nations for you. I'll ransom all. He says, I'll throw them all away for you. I said, oh, hallelujah. I accept. Thank you. I thank you, Father. I believe that.
Yes.
So believe it. Walk in it. Walk like the chosen. And be blessed and get out of America. Move now. Just leave. Just go. Even if you go to Europe, I don't care. Go to Spain if you want. Just get out of America. Spain's Capitol building ain't get struck by lightning 3 times. America's dead.
Yes. So guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody joining. Look, we probably gonna go live every day doing this with all this news that's happening. I'm pretty sure after this live, it's probably gonna be even more. Well, it's daytime over there, so when we wake up, it's probably gonna be like, dang, this happened yesterday, or this happened hours ago. So just stay tuned, stay in tune with the Most High's word, stay in tune with his spirit, and make sure that you fast and pray. Make sure you get some exercise, because it's a lot of stuff that's happening where you gotta
it's the mist out there.
Keep your health. Number one, like start jogging in place or something. Like stay. Man, it's so much going on where your health should be number one. Like you gotta really care for your physical health, because you don't want to be sick. You really don't want to be sick and try to go to the hospital and they pump you with other stuff. So it's a lot that's happening. Just be aware. We are in the last days. We are in the last times. And as we approach our new year, just stand up for righteousness, stand up for truth. And this is the reality that we're living in right now. This is what we got to be occupied with. So just be occupied and be ready for what's to come, because it's a lot that's about to happen.
Yep. And receive the promise before it comes.
Yes. Shalom, shalom, family.
Shalom.